All right, it's a bit of a different video, okay? I think all the other videos I've uploaded, I've always had a shirt on. For this video, I don't have a shirt on. Now, the purpose of this one is for you to really hit on loving not just yourself, but loving your body, right? Now, as a human, we're all genetically built different. It doesn't matter what color you are, what race, ethnicity, any of that. If you're into that, get the politics out of here. I don't want to hear that, okay? Um, you must have an understanding of how your body operates. Your body, okay? Not your brothers, not your neighbors, your body, not your friend, yours. Because when you have an understanding of how your body operates, that's key. You don't have to be an Arnold Schwarzenegger. You don't have to be a Sylvester Stallone and get into the tip top shape ever. Absolutely not. And I want to use myself as an example because when I was young, I was skinny as a rail, literally. I used to weigh about, oh man, I was like 90 some pounds throughout school. And then, of course, going through high school, I was like 120, 125, maybe 130. Like, I was so skinny. And the reason I was skinny was because, for one, I wasn't eating the right foods. And the foods I were eating it was a lot of junk. But again, it's like, I didn't know. I didn't know back then the food I was eating. I wasn't paying for my food, I was so grateful for the food I was able to get from my parents. But again, they weren't taught what kind of foods to eat. Like, they just weren't. And most of our parents aren't, especially if they're not necessarily like wealthy or something like that, right? Our parents are just given a blueprint and a game plan with how they were brought up as well. And ladies and gentlemen, back in the 80s, 90s, even grandparents' generations, like the 50s, 60s, 70s, they didn't have all this stuff, all this food and options as we do today, especially like, yeah, all this trash. There's so much trash out there in this world today. And it's like you really have to understand what is it that works best for you. So, for example, maybe you are overweight. That's okay, right? Don't let that deter you from continuing to keep going and staying overweight. Let that motivate you. You gotta have that switch that clicks on in your brain and be like, you know what? I know the foods that I'm eating are bad for me. I get that. But am I gonna keep eating these kind of foods to allow myself to get bigger and bigger? Or just stay the same? Or do I actually wanna change? And there's some people they don't wanna change. And that's something that they gotta decide for themselves. If they don't wanna change, that's by all means. But again, you still have to decide for yourself if you do wanna change. And you gotta have that click. Because when you click and you start implementing, you might hear crows in the background. I got like 200 crows around me that live by my apartment. But I highly advise you take some tests to figure out like what kind of food should you be eating. Literally, I took it's crazy, going on about a month ago, I took this body type test and it said exactly what kind of foods I should be eating and what kind of foods I shouldn't be eating. And some people might say that's BS. Some people might say, "Oh, you should stay consistent with that." And I'm all for trying new things. I really am. So I wanted to give it a try and just kind of see how it goes. And yeah, so far it's been a month, and yeah, I feel like I've definitely seen results. But again, it's like my plan might not necessarily be your plan, right? So in order to get confident with yourself, guys, there was a point in time where taking my shirt off like this right here, I felt uncomfortable. And I'll be honest, I'm still not at that level yet to where I'm just like, oh, let me just take it off like I'm Dwayne The Rock Johnson. You know? I mean, but I'll take it off, of course. But I remember whenever there was a time when I didn't feel comfortable because I felt so skinny. And I still feel a little skinny, but obviously I'm a little bit bigger now than what I was even just a year or 2 years ago. And that subconsciously would bother me. Because consciously we might not always be thinking about it, but subconsciously it's like we know what needs to change. We know we want to get bigger. If you're, a dude, maybe you're a woman, you might want to get a little leaner. Maybe you want to put on some muscle, right? And there's you don't have to go to the gym. There's alternatives. I use a resistance band training. That's what I do, literally. You don't have to, guys, and I tell you, I'm not no fitness expert, but doing all that running, it's not really doing you any good. It's not, unless you're trying to be a marathon runner, but just running and running. I mean, you're building so much cortisol in your brain. Cortisol doesn't make you lose weight. I'm sorry, it just doesn't. I can recommend you book after book, give you video after video, resource after resource on that. So you have to figure out, for one, the kind of food you are eating, that's key. Something I recommend, and again, it's all based off of body type. You should definitely be having a very carnivore-like diet to where you're eating meat. You don't necessarily have to go ham and eat meat every single day. I mean, it is healthy to do so, but I guarantee you, when you start eating meat, you're gonna notice a difference in your body. Your skin's gonna glow. Like, you probably won't really have a lot of acne. Your hair's gonna feel a lot better. It's insane, man. The other day, I literally saw this thing on Twitter. It was like, hey, take one egg yolk to your hair. Don't use shampoo. I haven't used shampoo for a while. Just recently started doing that. And if I do use anything in my hair, it's like olive oil, right? An olive oil shampoo bar. But the other day, I used this egg yolk. So you don't take the white, you get rid of the whites. And the egg yolk, I was like, oh man, this is kind of weird. It's that yellow thing. Put it in my hair. And afterwards, I kid you not, my hair literally felt like what it normally does, not just with shampoo, but even better. It's insane. Because whenever you don't use shampoo, your hair builds more oil. At least mine does, because genetically, I get this from my father's side. We have very oily skin, it's just how it is. Same with veins. It's like, we tend to be very veiny. So, yeah, I did that egg yolk and I'm like, wow, that's magic. So you have to, and I know this video is kind of a little bit all over the place here, but ultimately, I want you to try new things, okay? Just because people are really promoting being a vegan doesn't mean that necessarily works for you. If it does, by all means, keep doing it. But if there's any challenge I challenge you to do, it's to try eating meat more often and tell me. I kid you not, I had this one girl, she'd always tell me like, I don't know how you can eat meat like that. She was vegan for so long. And then all of a sudden she randomly had that switch that hit her. And a couple weeks into eating meat, she's like, wow, I feel like my boobs are getting a little bit bigger. And she was saying these other benefits that she's been seeing. And I'm thinking in my mind, like, yeah, I've been sending you this stuff. And it's so funny. Same with like raw milk and everything. It's so crucial for yourself. But that's besides the point. I could make a whole nother video on that. The point is, I want you to be comfortable with your body. Like, I want you to just be comfortable with it. Because that's your temple. That's who you are. If you're not confident in your body, guys, it's going to be hard to be confident just in life in general, literally. I mean, that's going to be extremely difficult. It really is. And it's not to say that you won't be confident, but it's just, it helps so much more whenever you have like a really good body and actually making that change. And it's hard. It is, man. I mean, there's sugar out there. The cheapest items to get are the worst items for you, are the junk food. That's how the system's made. It's made to give you the cheapest things, the unhealthiest, to lie to your mind saying, oh, I'm getting a better deal. But guys, you're gonna have to invest into your health anyways, in one way or another, whether that's investing into the maybe higher priced, couple to few dollars more foods now, or you're gonna have to do it whenever you're in the hospital, like later in life, and you're gonna be in pain. I mean, it's up to you, like the choice. Do you wanna get cancer at some point, or do you wanna maybe get it sooner? Or do you want to like not get it all by making the right decisions? I mean, I don't know what your future holds, but it's like, I'm pretty sure if you eat good and you eat healthier, your chances of getting cancer like diminished a ton, literally. So it's like, you got to figure out, well, what lifestyle do you want to live? And it's not always, well, Nate, maybe I am good with my body. Okay, but maybe you want to get rid of brain fog. Maybe you want to have more mental clarity. Because food, oh my goodness. If you're not eating the right foods and you have more sugary and just very extremely amounts of carb-like food, man, that really messes with the mental. Like it clogs the brain up so much. And you know, humans feel more lethargic. They feel very just tired. Like they don't want to do much at all. And it's off the food that you're eating. You want to get a better workout? Well, guess what? If you're going to the gym and still eating like shit, yeah, you might get a workout in, but you're not getting as an effective workout in compared to if you were actually eating healthier foods. I've tested it, guys. I mean, I've had sugar the night before or the day before, and then the next day my workout just isn't as good compared to having meat or eating a steak or eating ground beef, and then the next day just like having the best workout ever. It's crazy. It really is. So again, I want you to have the body confidence you deserve. We're humans. Like we've only been given this one life on this human earth. On this earth, right? We've only been given one life. So it's like, yo, treat your body with more respect. Literally, move more. You know, you want a good guy to follow? Check out Certified Health Nut, Troy Casey. He does Qigong. Don't ask me what Qigong is, but yeah, he does all these things that it keeps the body moving, right? That's another thing. You got to be moving. If you're a couch potato all day, you ain't gonna probably get in much shape. And people might look at myself and be like, "Wow, Nate, you got a good looking body," or "Man, you know, you could gain some more pounds," or "Man, you know, you're still skinny." I don't know. Like people could say that, but in myself, I'm at a point right now in my life where I realize, you know, I would like to put on a little bit more weight. But I feel comfortable with how I look right now. I mean, this is the best I've ever looked for me personally within my body. And in saying that, it takes just an acceptance of yourself. But it also takes an acceptance of yourself to say, man, I'm not where I want to be, you know? And even myself, I'll say that right now. Like, I'd like to be just a little bit bigger, but I'm still fine with how I look right now, you know? Because again, I realized that a year ago compared to now, compared to 2 years ago, like I see there's results. Now, if there weren't results, then I'd be like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? What do I need to do to make things different? So again, you gotta figure out what works best for you. I know this is kind of a lengthier video. I just wanted to, again, make something different and give you something that's different here, besides being shirtless and just showing you like, hey, guys, I'm 6 foot. Like I got a extremely lengthy frame. I really do. I mean, I'm not no basketball player, but I'm also not 5'7" or something. So even if you're taller, it might take you a little bit more to put on weight. It might take you a little bit more to gain muscle. But just understand, when you're consistent with that and you are eating right, like eventually you're gonna see the results, literally. It might take a little bit longer compared to somebody that might be a little bit shorter, that doesn't have the depth of motion when it comes to working out and things. But again, I don't need to get into all those mechanics. I'm not a personal trainer or anything like that. I don't want to be one of those, but I go about my life looking at different ways on how others have seen success with their bodies, and whether it's looking good and skin and all that, and just kind of seeing, okay, well, what do I already have in my favor? And that's, you know, what works for me already. And then what do I need to figure out that necessarily hasn't been in my favor, that I need to get better at? And when you can distinguish those twos out, you know, still obviously do your pros, but focus on the cons so you can get them to be pros. Because that right there is how you're going to get your body to where you want it to be, but most importantly, your mental confidence. Because like I said, at the end of the day, your body and everything plays into your confidence, which is all the mental. I've said it before in videos, working out isn't for the body, it's for the mental game. You're growing your body's getting in better shape, yes, that's great, but overall that affects your mentalness. You want to date more highly attractive women, you want to date more highly attractive men, get in shape. Literally. Do this, what I'm saying, and you're going to attract so many more incredible people. You're going to have more people that are like, you know how those ladies do it. You know, you're out in public and they think you're attractive. Women always do this with their hair, you know, subconsciously. They always do that. Or they might walk around you. Or it's just, you got to pick up on cues like that. They make eye contact. Don't you dare break eye contact. You're the masculine man. Show that. Okay? You're the one. Even the crows are out here agreeing with me. Appreciate it, guys. So, anyways, man, I must have really hit on a great point on that. But again, I want you to be the best version of yourself. I want you to be the most confident version of yourself. And I want you to have the best looking body as possible. You know, because if I take my shirt off, I want you to take your shirt off. Plain and simple. So, anyways, stay tuned to the next one. Appreciate you, crows.